Tomorrow night's Super Bowl will be played behind me at Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders. Less than a decade ago, it was unthinkable that the city would have one pro sports team, and today there are 3 franchises, with more likely on the way. So how did Sin City become a sports mecca? It's a story of ingenuity as old as the city itself.
Thank you all.
At her State of the City address in January, Mayor Carolyn Goodman laid out the vision for her final 12 months in office.
This is an unbelievable time for me.
A bonus year after elections moved to even-numbered years. Her husband, Oscar Goodman, ran the city for 12 years prior.
I love the adulation. I love all the nonsense. But she loves doing good things.
And, you know, we're very competitive, and luckily for me, I got my 13th year. So I got one up on him. I did. And which, of course, made a quarter of a century.
The Goodmans have been players in Las Vegas for nearly half the city's existence.
The Goodmans, in a lot of ways, are the quintessential Las Vegas story.
A story of reinvention, according to UNLV history professor Michael Green, who we met at the city's Neon Museum.
If you want to talk about the period when people began saying we had a reputation, it was the 30s, the 1830s.
Named Las Vegas, or the Meadows in Spanish, the area was part of the Old Spanish Trail.
The first Anglo settlers were members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in 1855. Back then, they were considered an outlaw group because of polygamy.
In 1905, a railroad from LA to Salt Lake City laid the groundwork for what would be its destiny.
A railroad town operating often 24 hours with, shall we say, assorted libations and lasciviousness.
Really? Even then?
There was an area called Block 16, and near as we can tell, there's one photo of the early prostitutes sitting out in front of the Arizona Club, which was called the Queen of Block 16 in its day.
You can trace the origins of the city's signature vice back that far as well.
When gambling became legal in 31, the editor of the main local paper said people shouldn't make too much of this, it won't be a big deal.
Almost immediately, casinos began popping up, a metamorphosis that would continue for decades to come.
The population here in Las Vegas doubled with almost every census of the 20th century.
Aided by the construction of the Hoover Dam in the 1930s. By the 40s, a highway connected the city to Los Angeles. Bigger casinos were built, and businesses like the Basic Magnesium plant became a producer for war materials.
And that means people are coming in here in droves to work in the plants. And organized crime interests figured out we can really do well on this strip. Let's build more there.
The mafia, chased out of other cities, flocked here.
Benny Binion came here in 1946 from Dallas, and somebody said, "Why did you leave Dallas?" He said, "My sheriff got beat." Well, that was how you operated in the other places.
Right.
Here, you got a license.
A post-war economic boom and jet travel brought tourists to town.
To America's most renowned playland.
And the Meadows became Sin City.
You have these celebrities like Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Jerry Lewis, all these people coming here. And there was a saying that Las Vegas is where you went to be certified an adult.
Which brings us back to Carolyn and Oscar Goodman,
Isn't this something? The old guy and his trophy wife. What?
college sweethearts from the East Coast.
I went home and said to Carolyn, "How would you like to move to the land of milk and honey?" And she says, "I love you, sweetheart, but I'm not moving to Israel."
But Oscar meant a different desert. As an attorney in the Philadelphia DA's office, he knew there was opportunity.
August 28th, 1964. It was a small, nice town.
Oscar's legal practice would take off.
As you can see, plenty of pictures of me.
Representing figures in what he famously calls the alleged mob.
I felt so
He
confident.
even played himself in the 1995 movie Casino.
Mr. Rothstein from any wrongdoing. I'd like this marked,
Pardon
Mr.
me,
Chairman.
Counselor, before you continue.
No, I want to have this marked.
In 1999, Oscar parlayed his fame into an unlikely run for mayor.
If we can't believe the mayor, who can we believe? Right.
Over the previous decade, a building boom led by Steve Wynn's The Mirage created the modern Las Vegas Strip with grand hotels and legendary acts. Mayor Oscar doubled down on his flamboyant public image with a focus on reviving downtown and building civic and cultural institutions, including state-of-the-art hospitals, a performing arts center, and a mob museum. He also began the process of luring professional sports teams. Former NBA Commissioner David Stern was an especially tough sell.
He said, over my dead body. I said, do you know what my background is, Commissioner? he believed that Las Vegas or any place that had live sports betting should not have an NBA franchise there. And then the city elected the most beautiful mayor in the history of mayors.
Under Carolyn's leadership, the city finally landed pro sports with an NHL expansion team in 2017.
What do pro sports being here mean to Las Vegas residents?
You know, you can not even ask the question without thinking of 1 October when we had that horrific slaughter of innocent people.
The Golden Knights' first home game came just days after the 2017 mass shooting at a music festival.
They became our community. They helped everybody begin the process of learning to know they had to accept that that horrific problem happened. And that forever solidified how a sports team could be involved.
Today, Las Vegas is a venerable sports mecca, also including the two-time WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces and NFL's Las Vegas Raiders, whose stadium will host tomorrow's Super Bowl.
It's the center of the universe now. It really is.
Even Oscar Goodman seems amazed at how far his city has come in the 60 years of living here.
People come from all over. In the beginning, they were limited to the gambling because where they came from did not have gambling.
Yeah.
Now they come here for the shopping, and the food is outstanding. You can't get a bad meal with the best entertainment in the world. It started with the Beatles and Elvis, and then it went to the showgirls with the big shows and residencies. I never heard of a word like that in my life. Where they get the biggest stars who they build rooms for, they build coliseums for them.
They built a sphere.
A sphere. As long as we have smart people here, creative people, we'll always be ahead of everybody else because we set such a high standard for ourselves. And that, I believe, is the reason for our success.
And you know, that expansion that we talk about in the piece, especially when it comes to sports, obviously the Super Bowl is a part of it, but we're expecting to see a Major League Baseball team here, and there's a lot of belief that the NBA will expand to Seattle and Vegas next. It just seems like this natural evolution, guys, of how this city continues to reinvent itself, as we said in the story.
Dana, I know there's a lot happening in Vegas, but I just checked my weather app, and it says 26 degrees. It's supposed to be 60 here in New York today, and it's 26 there.
It's a desert. It's a desert.
It is a desert.
All right, Dana, we'll see you again soon.